I'm hearing double music. It's double music, double the fun. We are live. I'm Andy Andrews. Welcome to the Blue Plate Special. Here. Did the music just like...
It was Facebook was feeding back into the...
so we're just like... Whoa.
Just for you. Everybody else heard it.
Okay. Yeah, that was that wasn't a fade out for me. That was a jump off the cliff. Anyway, we're here in Orange Beach, Wisdom Harbor Studios, live from the wharf, home of the world famous escalator statues. You need to get your picture taken on the escalator statues when you come visit us here at Wisdom Harbor, or the Wisdom Harbor Studios. So we're going to have a fun show today. My personal polls say that we're going to have a fun show today and that we're not going to talk about polls. Sue Keith, first on today. Wow. Okay, so we thought we ought to say, who's first on, because I got to tell you, Patricia Clapp from North Carolina, I mean, you got beat out by several people today. You're usually first on. We think maybe you live on here, but you got beat out today. Jason Harrell, hey buddy, how are you? Several of you. We got a funny story today. I'm just telling you. Jim Middaugh from Charlotte, Michigan. No, you're not really. I mean, Michigan doesn't really exist right now. Nobody knows what's going on. How in the world can we, for hundreds of years, know who won an election on the day of? But, hey, things have changed. Now they're boarding up businesses. It's like, good grief. What? Yeah, wait, what was that? Linda Porter Moore says, please don't talk politics. No kidding. You're right. Okay, that's it. No more. Okay. Kelly, good morning. Good morning. How are you? Who's from Jackson, Alabama? Who did I see? Wait, back. Jason Harrell from Jackson, Alabama. Good to see you, buddy. Jackson, Alabama. And Kevin Dean. Kevin says, you look good, my friend. What? How do you like my shirt? Is this great? I just think this is a great shirt. This is from Sand Dollar Lifestyles, here the cornerstone store of the wharf. But my shirt, don't stop retrieving. I just think, that's probably what the song was really about originally. I like to think about what, what the original idea was, right? Hey, by the way, our countdown clock, we are, from 2021, our countdown clock, we are 57 days, 11 hours, 41 minutes, and some such seconds away from getting out of this year. But yeah, don't stop retrieving. I just think that's so cool because I like thinking about, what the first thoughts were about, song titles or book titles. A lot of people don't know that Harper Lee, when she turned in her manuscript to the publisher, she had written it as To Kill a Hummingbird, and it was the publishers that talked her into Mockingbird. So just little known story, and so there's others like that, of course, and you could probably tell me some. Teresa Hey from Mobile, how are you doing? And Denise Forbes from Paris, Texas. All right. Deborah Green Williams, Pensacola. Now, we got a story to tell you today. Yvonne Palmer. Hey, Yvonne. How are you? Please, hey, you guys, if you're on Facebook, make sure you click that notification button and turn on the notification on your phone so that you'll know if we're on. I'm aware that a lot of you actually work and, sliding into the old cleaning closet to watch the show here at lunch. But would like for you to know when we're on. Vic Walzak, hey, buddy. And so I want you to click that notification button, but also please share this if you would. if you're on Facebook, right down there is the share option. And you can share, and we'll be live on your page too. I promise not to embarrass you. Very funny story here in just a few minutes. Cindy Ziegler Oats. Yes, that is. This is a Life is Good shirt. And it's from the Sand Dollar store. Or as your dad, Cindy Ziegler Oats, as your dad would have said it, it's from the Lifestyle Store down here at Sand Dollar, and life is good. That's what he's saying. Hagen Mac, hey, from Colorado. Is it cold in Colorado? Is it cold? I bet it's cold here. I mean, it's really cold here. What was it this morning, Matt?
I didn't even look at it. I just put my hoodie on and came in.
Yeah, Matt's in like a sweatshirt with a hood, and it's cold. It's like 54, something like that. It's cold. So, Judson, not in the cleaning closet, but your desk could use some things in the cleaning closet. I bet it could, buddy. Judson Perkins, you and my wife. You know, now Judson Perkins, that is Kevin Perkins' little boy. And you're not a little boy anymore. You got a little girl of your own. But I really think that Judson Perkins and my wife, you have something very much in common. And that is both of you could get you could eat lunch and get mustard on your shirt even when there's no mustard on the table. That is how likely you and Polly are to get something on your shirt. I mean, I would just be in awe of both of you. You know, you as you're growing up, and Polly like yesterday. Okay, so anyway, but I always wear a t-shirt. I always wear a t-shirt. Who was that said that about it being cold? Linda Porter Moore says, cold, yeah, on a t-shirt. Yeah, I know. And I didn't wear a long sleeve shirt. You know, Polly, when I used to travel back in the old days, and a lot of you probably are too young to remember before COVID, and but there was a time that people didn't wear masks, and there was a time that we actually traveled, and when I would travel, if I would go, Polly would say, hey, where are you going? Hey, Kevin Perkins. She'd say, hey, where are you going? And I would say, Minneapolis, then to South Dakota, then to Dallas, then home. And she'd say, you know, it'd be like January. And she said, you got a coat? And I say, I do. She said, you do not. And I said, you're right, I don't. She said, yeah, that's just crazy. You don't care. And I'm like, dear, look, let me tell you what this trip is like. This trip is, I fly into Minneapolis. I go from the airport to a car to the hotel, and then I go hotel to the car to the airport. And then in South Dakota, I go airport to the car to the hotel to the car to the airport. And then in Dallas, I go airport to the car to the hotel to the car to the airport. And then I'm home. And for that, I'm supposed to drag a coat around for 3 days. I'm not doing it. So I never do. Anyway, I can make it from a car to a building in a t-shirt. Okay, I want to tell you a story. Now everybody settled back. Everybody ready? Okay. I want to say hi to the people on YouTube, and do subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our channel on YouTube, even if you're not watching, if you are watching, just please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And let's see, what else was I going to ask you to do? I don't think anything else. Hi to you guys on Instagram. Hello, Twitter. If you haven't gone on Amazon to review Just Jones, I would really appreciate it if you would. If you liked it. If you don't like it, please don't, okay? I'm amazed that I like coffee. I'm just amazed. All right, so this story I'm about to tell you is absolutely true, all right? I mean, absolutely true. And it's detailed exactly as I remember it. Now, I'm just going to tell you before I start telling you the story that I'm going to stop in the middle of it and give you a fact that happened after the story because of this story. All right, absolutely true. All right, ready? Everybody ready? Is that okay? It was August 25th, 2016, and I had checked into the JW Marriott in Midtown Indianapolis the night before. I was really excited. I was going to be speaking to this national organization of civil engineers that morning. Very exciting people, civil engineers. And so at approximately 8:30 a.m., I was leaving the concierge lounge with a bowl of granola. I had blueberries on it and a glass of milk. My intention was to eat while I was finishing some computer work. Then I was going to shower, dress, head downstairs to speak. I was going to meet the event coordinator in the hotel lobby at 11. I never made it. While waiting for the elevator, I got my cereal in my hand. I just paused to admire the view. I was on the 31st floor. There had been a game in Lucas Oil Stadium the night before, and I could see the activity far below as the grounds crew was tidying up outside the stadium. It was the home of the Colts, right? And I vaguely remember turning just before I felt the blow. The angle was not enough, however, to see my assailant. As in the previous instant, I had considered I was alone. I considered myself completely alone and unobserved. So around the hallway corner and tucked into the elevator alcove, I mean, I wasn't even able to see the lounge, the concierge lounge that I had just come from. And neither was anybody able to see me from there. So apparently a baseball bat was what I was first hit with. It was like the weapon of choice because this massive swing connected with me like my lower back and it drove me into the wall. And so I'm attempting to like remain upright and I was repeatedly stabbed. Again, it was just like kind of a butcher style carving knife. And it was like quick and brutal. But I am kind of oddly ashamed to admit that, I mean, I never even turned to defend myself. I mean, I just like collapsed helplessly to the floor. Now, in regards to weapons used by my attackers, apparently, and I use apparently, because in relating this to you as accurately as I'm able to, apparently is the only word that fits the situation, is by all accounts won't work because there weren't any other people there. So I am told would be untrue because I wasn't told. I mean, not a single witness ever came forward. And as a crime scene, the elevator alcove was like, it had no physical evidence. It was like free of physical evidence as could have been possible under the circumstances. No weapons were left behind. And there was no identifiable fingerprints or clothing fiber, DNA beyond my own. It was like non-existent. Even though the laboratory workup verifying the event included my samples of painful vomiting or of having vomited painfully. Either way works. In any case, less than a minute after the attack, I was found on the floor by this sweet, they were horrified Midwestern couple, and they had only intended that morning to like enjoy this quiet bit of conversation with some orange juice and wheat toast. And they were planning their day, and they found me. And from that point, I remember my own voice alternating between like screaming and desperately quiet whimpers. I remember attempting to crawl out of the area as the alcove filled with people and everybody's wanting to help and nobody has a clue as to how to help. And I remember paramedics, but not much after that. Within minutes, the ambulance had delivered me to Methodist, which is how folks in the state of Indiana refer to the Indiana University Health Methodist Hospital. They call it Methodist. I didn't know that then, of course. I'd been like semi-conscious during a brief exchange between my paramedics and the ambulance crew, and all I heard was, "Get this guy to Methodist, go, go." And frankly, that was fine with me. I mean, later, as I reflected on my perceptions at the time, I was reminded of the saying, "There are no atheists in foxholes." And it's an assertion I've always believed to probably be true. I still believe it, of course. The premise seems pretty obvious. On the other hand, having been raised as a Baptist, any presumption I might have ever made regarding denominational superiority was immediately forgotten when the paramedic yelled, "Go, go," and the ambulance burst into traffic toward Methodist. The argument regarding sprinkling versus total immersion never really occurred to me. In the ambulance, I was intubated by an attendant who talked into a keyless microphone, presumably conversing with someone at Methodist. "I'm starting morphine," she said, in an IV drip. "For God's sakes," I yelled this, "for God's sakes, don't drip it. Just shove the bottle down my throat or something." And for the barest moment, she appeared to be startled. Then she started laughing out loud, and she said to the driver, "Did you hear what he said?" He said, but the driver had heard, and the driver was laughing. Their hearty giggles were a curious response to my suffering, I thought, considering the fact that I was quite obviously dying. And the attendant that was right by me remarked, "I've had this happen to me before. I've also had 4 kids, and I know you're in pain. And frankly, I'd rather have 4 more kids than another kidney stone." Okay, let me stop right there. Now, I just have to tell you, I'm going to finish the story here in just a second, but I just want to tell you what happened. About 6 or 8 months after this, I wrote about it, and a news service got a hold of the article. It went out. And it went out with the headline. I did not write the headline, but it went out with the headline, "Alabama author attacked?" with a question mark. And for the next couple of days, I got so many calls from friends that did not read the whole article. They just heard just what you've just heard now, or part of it, and started calling each other and, "Have you heard about Andy?" and "Oh my gosh," and blah, 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 blah. And so, but anyway, here's the rest of the article. Let me just kind of back up a little bit and remind you of what the attendant said. I'm just going to back up just a little bit, okay? So she said, this lady said, "Oh my gosh, I've had this happen to me before. I know you're in pain. I've had 4 kids. I know you're in pain. Frankly, I'd rather have 4 more kids than another kidney stone." That's what she said. And I'm thinking the morphine's making me crazy. Or she skipped me and gave all the morphine to herself. I mean, after all, I'm still blind with pain, and she's undoubtedly crazy. Kidney stones? Who was she trying to fool? Somebody better be looking for nuclear warheads, because clearly terrorists had used me for a warm-up and were now loose in Indianapolis. At Methodist, a beautiful ER doctor named Julie patiently explained that I would be given a CAT scan. I've never really liked cats, I told her, and she laughed. It's to determine the exact size and location of your kidney stone, she explained. Kidney stone, I said. Yeah, okay, fine. As long as you keep the morphine IV running on high, you can look for kidney stones until Jesus comes. Meanwhile, somebody needs to call the police. I didn't see whoever did this, but they should be easy to spot. Tell the officers to look for somebody walking the downtown area with a 4-foot sword and a 36-ounce Louisville Slugger. The ambulance attendant was filling out forms nearby and started laughing again. He is very funny, she said to Dr. Miss America, and then they all laughed some more. Okay, so 2 days later, I left Methodist with a stent inserted near my left kidney. The stent, mercifully put in place while I was anesthetized, was deemed necessary in order to bypass a stone the medical staff assured me was only 0.5 centimeters in diameter. I assured them that if there actually was a stone, it was the size of the one French soldiers found in 1799 in Egypt, somewhere near Rosetta. I still wasn't convinced, but I must confess the lack of stab wounds on my back was confusing, and it was also confusing in my obvious lack of a surgical incision. It's like, how did they get the stent in? I'm still not entirely sure. And if you know, please keep it to yourself, because I really don't want to talk about it. So I flew home and into the arms of a new cadre of doctors. Within the week, a lithotripsy was scheduled. Now, lithotripsy is a treatment done under anesthesia. And lithotripsy is a thing that it uses ultrasound shock waves, and they're used to break the stone into particles that can then be passed more easily from the body. The word lithotripsy is derived from two Greek words, litho, meaning stone, and tripsy, meaning crushed. One might wonder why they don't just call the machine a stone crusher, but I suppose one would not need a medical degree in order to operate a stone crusher. In any case, it didn't work. Not on me, anyway. I'm evidently one of those exceptions you hear about at the end of pharmaceutical commercials. You know, the kind, though we just made this aspirin sound like it can cure cancer, the occasional side effects include immediate death, prolonged suffering before death, and pain that will make you wish for death. I was apparently, and there's that word again, I was apparently the 1 in 1,000 guy, despite the 3,000 hits of ultrasound shockwave. This is no exaggeration. That's the number they told me after the surgery. 3,000 hits of the shockwave. The lithotripsy did not do what it was supposed to do. No one knew that at the time, of course. And I was sent home after the outpatient surgery with assurances that all would be well. I was informed that I would experience a day, maybe a couple of days of mild discomfort. At 11 p.m. that night, discomfort? I'm like, discomfort? This is mild discomfort? I mean, this is the musings. These are the musings that were rumbling through my head soon after the guy with the bat and the sword, having also left Indianapolis, showed up at my house. It was brutal. I mean, when my wife got the doctor, the one that was on call, not my doctor, but the one on call, at about midnight, he told her, just give him 4 ibuprofen. I mean, I'm not really sure if she thanked him for that advice or not, and she doesn't really remember. But she hung up and did not give me the ibuprofen. This, as it turned out, was a good move. The lithotripsy had not destroyed the stone. Instead, another CAT scan later revealed it had pinballed the stone back into my kidney, and I was hemorrhaging. Think about that one for a minute. I know I have. Yes, thank you for your call, Mrs. Andrews. Well, I suppose he could be hemorrhaging internally. You know, that's what we call it when someone's bleeding to death. So I suggest you give him 4 blood thinners. So, as I said earlier, Polly didn't give me the ibuprofen, but it wasn't because we had any clue what was happening. I mean, she just figured, heck, he's had 4 Percocets. I'm not thinking ibuprofen's going to help. So at 2 p.m., no, 2 a.m., it was 2 a.m. At 2 a.m., she called the Orange Beach paramedics. And so, I mean, because she called 911, right? And so, I mean, she called 911. So the Orange Beach paramedics showed up very quickly. And even though there's more to the story, you really don't want to hear it. I mean, I'll skip the part about not being able to breathe for several days because of the hematoma around my kidney pressing against my left lung. I guess I'll leave out the whining I would still like to do about being cold. It's freezing, actually, for a month afterward because I'd lost so much blood that my hemoglobin was at an all-time low, and I was weak. I mean, I was really weak. I would just like, looking back, I'd just like the experience to mean something. Therefore, with your permission, I will close with high points from the current info on how you can avoid kidney stones. Sure, you could Google it and find out yourself, but please, if you don't mind, I'd like to help. So here are a few facts from the kidney stone experts. Now, from livestrong.com, an article titled Grapefruit Juice and Kidney Stones. Ample amounts of citric acid can help prevent kidney stones from developing in the urine. Despite the fact that grapefruit juice contains citric acid, regular consumption may actually increase your risks of developing kidney stones. Oh, wait. Go back. What? Okay, so ample amounts of citric acid can help prevent kidney stones. Despite the fact that grapefruit juice contains citric acid, regular consumption may actually increase your risk of kidney stones. Perfect. That helps. Thanks. Okay, here's from health.harvard.edu. The piece is Kidney Stones on the Rise. And this article reveals that 19% of men and 9% of women will endure kidney stones by the time they're 70. It's a percentage that is increasing. Under the section titled Why the Rise, we read this. Another possibility is climate change. Of course. Why not? I mean, climate change to blame for everything else. Why not kidney stones? Okay, so from mayoclinic.org, the report is listed under kidney stones basics and causes. Just allow me to summarize this, but I will do so carefully, and I will tell you where the quotation marks are in order to signify actual quotes from the article. Okay, there are different kinds of kidney stones, according to the folks at Mayo Clinic. And knowing what kind of stone you are developing can help you decide a course of action to inhibit its growth. For instance, if you have calcium stones, they state that those are usually in the form of calcium oxalate. Oxalate is a naturally occurring substance found in food. Some fruits and vegetables, as well as nuts and chocolate, have high oxalate level. Your liver also produces oxalates. Okay? Then again, Mayo Clinic says you might have struvite stones. They form in response to an infection. These stones can grow quickly and become quite large, sometimes with few symptoms or little warning, close quotes. Or you could be dealing with uric acid stones, which can form in people who don't drink enough fluids or lose too much fluid, those who eat a high-protein diet, and those who have gout. Certain genetic factors may also increase your risk of uric acid stones, close quote. Perhaps you're unlucky enough to have cystine stones. These are the kinds that form in people with a hereditary disorder that causes the kidneys to excrete too much of certain amino acids, close quotes. Finally, to top it all off, and to make everything perfectly clear, mayoclinic.org includes the category-specific other stones, noting that other types of kidney stones can also occur, close quotes. Thank you. Now we know exactly what's happening inside ourselves, and we know exactly what to do when we eat or don't drink this or that and take less or more, unless it's all the fault of our parents. So somebody sent me this other professional article. This is a professional article detailing the research being done in a new treatment for kidney stones. I'm not kidding. The gist of it is, and again, I'm not making this up, roller coasters help people pass the stones. Yeah, I can see that, doubled over, screaming in agony and saying, for the love of God, I'm dying here. Can't somebody just put me on a roller coaster? Personally, I think I'll stick with the whole sword baseball bat thing, because at this point, that scenario seems easier to prevent, and it's a whole lot less confusing. Have you ever had kidney stones? Man, I am telling you. With, I had the neck thing. I had the neck thing going on. And when I would go in, the doctors would always, or the nurse, somebody would say, so what is your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10 in your neck? And, thinking this has got to be, they got to hear everything. And they've got to, hear, because one person's 8 might be another person's 5. And so how are they going to know what it is if I say it's an 8? right? I mean, they might look at me and go, this guy's a wimp. He's not suffering in hate. And so here's how I would always tell them. They would say, internet today, your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain level? And I would say, it's an 8, and I've had kidney stones, so I know what a 10 is. And they would go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you do. I mean, I'm just telling you, man, there ain't nothing like it. There is nothing like it. You know how much I like Michael Perry. You guys know how much I like Michael Perry, the author from Wisconsin. And I was reading one of his books, and I wish I could remember which exactly it was. But he wrote this incredible article about having a kidney stone. And I went and told Polly, I said, read this, see, but anyway, it's in, I'll find out which one it's in. Maybe we ought to have Mike on the Blue Plate special and have him read his kidney stone story. We have like competing, we could have like a kidney stone competition, see whose was worse, I would love to hear him read that. Chad Calhoun says, left a review yesterday. Thank you guys. I hope you had a good time today. I had a good time. We're working hard, writing and getting some stuff done here, working with a few companies, figuring out how to work with more from the studio here, and we're having a good time. You having a good time, Matt?
Oh, great time.
I have a great time too. All right. So, and tomorrow is SB's birthday, just so you know. And today is Little Bit's birthday. It's Matt's wife's birthday. Thank you guys for joining us. And we'll leave you with the comment from Kelly Hurenko, who said, love the story. Felt like I was on a roller coaster. Bye-bye.